This is Danny Hurley from the defending national champions, UConn Huskies, and this is the Big East Rewind.
Welcome back to another edition of the Big East Rewind. I am Chuck Everson, your host from Villanova University, and my partner, as always, is the sensational Dr. Sonny Sparrow. How are you, Sonny?
Chuck, I'm doing great. I think this is going to be a fun show. We're kind of doing that, bridging the present and the past.
That's what we do. That's our new thing, bridging
right?
the past with the present with the past. That's right.
We have an old friend and we got a new friend, so I'm happy, man.
And you know what? Why not start with the defending national champion Huskies from UConn, Sonny? Today
great
it's going
place to start. Start at the top.
Start right at the top, and it's going to be all Husky all night tonight. So that'll be a fun time, and we're going to talk all about the current team, the current situation, what's going on in Husky land over there, and who better to do that and talk with us is to bring in two legit UConn Husky legends, Sonny. One guy's making a second appearance on the show, and one's a brand newcomer with us. So We'll start with the new guy first, okay? So coming to us from UConn, as I said, one of only 6 Huskies, Sonny, to score 1,000 points and grab 800 boards. The big guy, Rod Sellers, is with us. How are you, Rod?
Thank you guys for having me.
Okay.
Welcome to the show, Rod.
And this guy's a ringer, Sonny. He knows a lot. He's around the program. Yeah. He's now a friend of the show. He's been around a little bit with John Gwynn. And coincidentally, he's the all-time leading scorer in UConn history. Great legend himself, Chris Smith. How are you, Chris?
I'm doing great. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me, man. And thanks for having me with my guy, Rod Sellers, man. Heart of the team right there.
Yeah. Well, you guys came in together,
Thanks for being
right?
here, Chris. Love you, man.
You guys came in together.
Yeah, we came in together.
We were roommates. We were roommates, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So talk about that. So now you
had a great class. Yeah, we had great mentors. We had talking about great players, Phil Gamble. We had Cliff Robinson, Willie Glass.
Yeah, great, right?
We had Lyman the Priest already there. John Gwynn. We had some great players that was already there that, were mentors to us because, we came in with bright eyes, man. I remember Rod Sellers coming in and coming from South Carolina, man. We just wanted to do well. We wanted to fit in and play well and be the best people we can be. And I tell you, just, UConn has been a special place for us.
Yeah. How about you, Rod, when you came in? What were your thoughts?
Like Smitty said, I came in, I'm from the South. I'm from ACC, SEC country. And when I first got there, I know UConn had just came off the NIT championship. But the big thing for me was it was the Big East. The Big East was tremendous. Yeah. And I wanted a chance to play to show that I could play in the Big East. At the time, that Georgetown was very strong. Syracuse was strong. Villanova, Seton Hall. I remember Seton Hall went to the finals my freshman year.
Yeah.
It was just like it was a bruiser conference, a bruiser league, and I wanted a chance. I'm this little skinny kid from South Carolina, but you know what? I just knew that I worked hard, I worked my ass off, and I knew I had a chance to play. So I was going to do whatever I had to do to stay on the court.
Yeah.
Whatever I had to do to play to help the team win. So, that was my role, Rod. Just do it, do this, do that, and I would do it. I would try to do it, do the best I could at it. But, I remember Smitty, he's from Connecticut. He was a big-time player of the year in the state. He was a big-time guy, could score. I was amazed at watching him. Like, every day in practice, I was just in amazement watching this guy. And I remember Cliff Robinson, Cliff was a great player, just a great guy. Phil Gamble. I remember those guys would be amazed at watching Smitty. What they called it the Smitty dribble, where he would dribble so low, but he could score like with the best of them. I'm like, this guy is phenomenal. It was big for me, but I was, my role was to set screens, get him free. Okay. I say, Smitty, come off my side. I got you.
That's true.
Well,
Nobody wanted to go off Rod's side, man. Rod was extremely physical, especially for a young guy coming in, man. I mean, he could rebound the ball. He just had great hands, and if it touched his hands, he rebounded the ball. Great outlet passer. He could pull it up over the right. He could score over the left shoulder. He could score. So I mean, I just saw a lot of greatness at a young age coming in, and and Coach Calhoun, he let us play. He really let us play as freshmen, which gave us the confidence for the years to come.
Rod, I got to ask you about recruiting for yourself from ACC and SEC country. Was there any like backlash? Like, why are you going up north, or why are you leaving this area?
So, I was I guess a late bloomer coming out of high school. I didn't play AAU at the time, but I played in high school. I was like second team All State in South Carolina, and the year I graduated, South Carolina had a really good recruiting class, had a really good senior class, and so South Carolina, University of South Carolina wanted me, but they wanted me to redshirt. Clemson wanted me, same thing. They wanted me to redshirt, and I got a lot of looks from uh, mid-level colleges. So, ACC, my only ACC school was South Carolina. I had interest from NC State, but my mom wasn't too thrilled with NC State. So the trouble. So I and my brother at the time, he was a freshman at Central Connecticut. So I was
Yep.
like, hey, my brother's up there. Let me go up
Okay.
there and see what's going on. So I was close to him. I got a chance for the Big East. And a chance to do something. What I thought would be something special in the Big East. Because at the time Connecticut was kind of like a cellar dweller,
Yeah,
and I just remember Coach Calhoun, my freshman year, he didn't want to play in the 8-9 game. I
yeah,
just remember that was the thing that we didn't want to play in the 8-9 game.
yeah,
And then to do what we did, just felt so special. And I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to okay, we can do it, man. We can win. Just talking to Smitty, like you said, Cliff and Phil and Lyman and John, and we just knew that we had a chance, but we
yeah,
just had to put it all together.
yeah,
And Coach was the right person at the right time for that job, man. Coach Calhoun.
yeah.
Yeah.
Did he make the connection with you, or was it the assistant? Who was the one that sold you on UConn?
The assistant, Howie Dickerman, Coach D.
Howie, great
Yeah,
guy,
Oh yeah.
great guy.
a tremendous guy.
I knew him from Canisius. He recruited me at Canisius at the
Oh, really?
prior. Yeah, yeah.
Oh man, I love Coach D, man. I mean, I got like unbelievable love for that guy.
That's
Yeah.
great, man.
Howie was everywhere. He tried to get you, tried to get Rob. He ended up getting me. I mean, he was at my school every day. I don't know how he did it. Where did he get the energy?
Back then, right? Those guys traveled. They were all road warriors back then. Those guys, the assistant coaches.
Yeah,
Yep,
yeah,
yep.
So listen. You
that's
talk
true.
a little bit about it, Rod. The history. That the rich history that you guys have at UConn. I mean, I think when we had Coach Calhoun on, I think what did he say, like 32 pros, Sonny, came out of UConn. Was it something like that?
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it's at least
Tremendous,
32.
tremendous turnaround. Like you said, Rod, it wasn't known as a good basketball school, and Calhoun turned that around pretty
Oh,
He
quickly.
yeah.
did a tremendous job.
Pretty
So,
quickly, and it
so
starts with
that
players, right?
said,
You
Chris,
guys, you guys are starting.
that said, with the history and embracing the past, at the UConn, talk about what it's
Yeah.
like for the basketball alumni. Are they welcomed back with open arms? Is there a lot of guys that come back to games? Talk about the culture and how you guys are treated by the current UConn staff.
Hey, if we can go to a game, we're at the game. I mean, there's still a lot of guys that live here. We have John Gwynn that lives here, Lyman
Yeah.
the Priest still in the area, Murray Williams is still in the area, Dan Cerulic is in New York. So when guys are around, Ross Sellers drives from Atlanta for certain games. I mean, that's how
Wow.
serious it is, and that's how
That's
beautiful
serious.
the program is because
That's serious.
They accept us to come back. They give us tickets. Hey, when we're there, they make sure that people know that we're there. So, we love our program, and whenever we can get to the game and show love to the young guys, we make sure that we're there.
So
Do the current kids on the team
you're
know who
right
you
in the
are?
corner, Danny Hurley, right?
Yeah,
Sorry.
they do a good job of making sure that the current players know who we are. When we're there, we go back into the locker rooms. They tell the guys who we are. It's all about the history with UConn when it started. You got to realize Rod and I and the guys, John Gwynn and Lyman, we started the dream season. I mean, we hit the shot. Tate George hit the shot for the dream season. I mean, we were right there going into the Final Four. If Tate would have kept the ball, dropped the ball, but that's okay. But look, he was in the area to steal the ball. It didn't happen. Other things happened, but we were right there. We should have won. We should have beat Duke, and that started the fire for UConn to move on to get Donyell Marshall, to start getting the Ray Allens, to start getting these top-notch McDonald's players to come to UConn and really look at it because we was in the NCAA tournament.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, so
And
with
Danny
the
Hurley
current
has just exploded it, right? So Coach Danny Hurley really has amplified that, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, Rod, you can answer that.
So, piggybacking on what Chris said, I think Dan has done a tremendous job of embracing the older guys,
Yeah.
bringing us back. And like Chris said, he has us in the locker rooms. He's, telling the guys who we were, who we are, what we did at the program. And it's like with open arms. I mean, they're asking, Rod, come to the back, come back, come back.
Yeah.
I'm like, wow. I think he does a tremendous job. And, following a legend like Coach Calhoun is not easy. But
Not
what
even.
Dan has done has been tremendous. How he has kept the older guys engaged. He's recruiting his ass off, as you can
Yeah.
see. He's getting like all of these players. He has a championship under his belt.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's doing is tremendous. And I think the older guys. I even told Dan when I was up there last year. I said, Dan, this probably means nothing to you. I said, man, we're so proud of you though. We're
Yeah.
so proud of what you're doing,
Yeah.
for the program, with the program, the continuation of, what, was started back when we were in college.
Yeah.
It just makes us, proud to see that.
Yeah.
So, and I love Dan's intensity. I love his passion, his fire. It's great watching him. I just think what he and his staff are doing up there is tremendous.
Yeah, and Rod is exactly right. I mean, he's just bridging the old with the new. Whenever we're around, he makes sure these young guys know who we are. And he's got a great staff. They know who we are. He's got, he's from New Jersey, but he has Tom Moore on the roster there. He's a coach, and Tom Moore makes sure when guys are involved, they come into the locker room, they talk to the young guys, and I think that's just exceptional that what they do for the program.
Yeah, I think it's important to the whole program that the guys on the current team, the younger kids, know who all you guys are. They at Villanova they say we play for those who came before us, and that's kind of the mantra.
Yeah.
One of that they live
Yeah.
by there at Nova. So I know all too well what that's like, and I know
Yeah.
how it feels when you go to a game and people are talking to you, and you become an ambassador for the program. And what
Yeah.
what better day is that to go out and just go be yourself and just talk up UConn basketball while you're walking around Gamble or wherever all you guys are playing. So let's talk about the current team
Right.
for a minute, because the season started. We're into the
Yeah.
season now, and do you think that your Huskies got a little slighted by being picked third in the Big East this year after coming off a Natty championship?
Hey, look.
It's crazy because they're picked sixth in the nation,
Yeah,
sixth nationally, but third in the conference.
Yeah.
right.
That's kind of weird, kind of strange. But again, Marquette has a really good team coming back, as well as Creighton, a good
Yeah.
team coming back, and some good additional players to those teams. So it's okay. I think UConn's going to use that as a little bit of fire. I hope they can get back.
Yeah. You know, I had my eyes on a team the other day. They played Northern Arizona, and they look good. It feels good. Kind of feels like the last team. He ran the same offense as last year, and the new guys came in, and Castle looks great. He looks smooth running the offense. Uh, I think Caravan is going to be a star. I think he can average 18 points a game. Uh, we need him to get in more of a scoring mindset, because if he can turn the 18 to 22 to 24 points a game, which I think he can do, they could be outstanding. Klingon he's blocking shots. He's huge out there. They throwing alley oops to him. This team looks really, really good. And you got to realize we have our leader back. The point guard, Newton, was the starting point guard
Newton,
last year
Yeah,
for
Newton,
the championship
yeah,
team. And you got to realize
Newton.
that championship game, he took over. He
He
really
took
took
over.
over
he
and
did.
played well. So we have some key pieces, along with some young guys that can really get it done. Now, mind you, we lost a lot. We lost,
Right.
Hawkins,
Hawkins, Jackson, and Sonogo.
Jackson,
Yeah.
and Sonogo. Those are
Yeah.
pros. We lost some pros,
Right.
but I think with the young nucleus that we have today, I think they'll figure it out, and we have a good season.
You know, they
I
have a
think
good mix.
Caravan, the improvements he made. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Chuck.
I'm sorry. They have a good mix, and these are one of those games where everybody's going to get some run. You know, he didn't lay out 30-minute games for for Donovan or for Cam or for some of the other guys, Tristan. It's that time where you're going to see who can do with what kind of combinations work. All of that stuff's being worked out in these first 2, 3, 4 games. So it's hard to get a real feel for what it's going to be when the rotation gets shortened up at the end of this preseason. But they play a tough
Yeah,
preseason. I mean, they got Kansas, they got Gonzaga, they got North
Kansas, North
Carolina,
Carolina,
they got Indiana.
yeah,
I mean, it's no joke.
Indiana. Yep.
They're coming out blazing. So let's go
Right.
down this roster for a second, Chris. Talk to me about the big guy a minute.
yeah.
I got to start with the bigs. I know you're the point guard, Chris, and I got my man.
Oh God.
I got my man Sonny here. But Rod's a
Oh.
guest and he's a big, so that we're gonna go with the big guy first. Talk about Donovan Klingel for a minute, because he was hurt when we saw him at media day. He was in a boot, and the next thing you know, he's playing 15 minutes and getting loose out there again.
No, I know. But when I talked to you earlier, I think it was last week or the other day, you said that he was in the boot and you were surprised that he was playing. Look,
Yeah.
he's going to be the catalyst for this team. Uh, if he was hurt, I'm telling you, I had my eyes on the game. I watched him. It didn't seem like he was hurt. My main thing is the speed of the game for him. That's what I'm looking at, because I want to make sure that he's extremely healthy and ready to be out there when the game starts to get faster, because the game is going to get faster. He expends a lot of energy. He blocks a lot of shots. He rebounds the ball. He does a lot for the team. And for that big body, I want to see if he can stay healthy when we're in those close, tough games, which we're going to be in the Big East.
You said you graduated some pros, but it's nice when you have some future pros right behind them. Like you lose Sonoma, but then you got Donovan right behind him,
Yeah,
who's legit. And he, when we interviewed him and he talked to Chuck, he was looking down on the top of Chuck's
Oh
head,
yeah.
and Chuck's 7 feet. So I'm like,
Oh
this
yeah.
guy's for real. And he's a big chested dude too, man.
yeah. Yeah, he's the real deal. He's got the nice size. He got big hands. He's got real soft hands. He reminds me of Rod
Soft
Taylor.
hand.
When the ball gets close to him, he grabs it. He grips it. He gets it out. He's smart with the ball. He doesn't turn it over. He's not afraid. So, he's just got a lot of great intangibles about him. And you're right. He should be the next pro. And I think he will be.
He's good.
Yeah.
He's good.
We
He's good.
talked.
He's big. He blocks shots. He covers space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And his backup Samsung played really well the other day as well. Monday.
Yeah.
If he can stay healthy and continue to progress, they can have that same Sonogo
Yeah.
Klingon Johnson they can have that little rotation thing going, which would be pretty good for them.
Right.
Yeah, because Johnson brings that athleticism. He's
Yep.
long, he's lanky, he can get
He's
up and down the
bouncy.
court. When
Yep.
you put him on an island with a guard, I think he can guard the guard on the island and be okay. And I love Johnson. I mean, he was hurt last year, but
Yep.
I saw him play this. He's just bouncy. He's bouncing around. He's moving. He's fast. So, if he just slows the game down a little bit, Rod,
hmm
I think you're absolutely right. With those two, it could be a Sonogo clinging thing again.
Yep.
You mentioned about Alex Caravan. Rod, what do you think? I think if he has the kind of season you're talking about, Chris, that's pretty spectacular. What are you seeing with him, Rod? What do you expect out of Alex?
Smitty was spot on what he said. I was saying the same thing. I said, this guy, he had a great freshman year. He literally could have been freshman of the year. I think he was, all freshman team.
Yeah.
Right.
He had a great freshman year. He's made tremendous strides from his freshman year. He had 22 easy the other night. I mean, if he can be consistent, because he's so clutch. He's a clutch guy.
Very clutch.
He shoots well. He's clutch. If he can be consistent, like somebody said, and give you 18 a game, and if he can bump that any higher, man, and he has that like quiet confidence about him as well. So he's leading just by example, by showing.
Yeah.
Man, if he can continue to progress in that direction, he can be big time. He can be big time for us.
Yeah.
How about the addition of Cam Spencer? Danny talked about being able to get him in the portal, and bringing him in, and how kind of it was very like fortunate. They were very fortunate that he was available when that guy went early and they had the spot for Cam. What do you look at? What do you look at when you see a Cam Spencer?
That's another huge pickup for Dan. Again, I told the team last year, I spoke to him after one game. I said, you guys have all the pieces. I mean, they had everything.
Mhm.
And I'm looking at this year, and it's the same. Like Dan is doing a great job of getting all the pieces, the athletics, the shooters, the defense, the point guards, surrounding everybody with what they need. I think he has all the pieces. And with the addition of Cam, man, he can be I mean, this guy can shoot lights out. He can really, really be tremendous for us, especially with Castle and Newton going downhill, getting in the lane. You got the kick out. You got Donovan. You're gonna have to double this guy,
Yeah.
or he's gonna just monster you. So, man, it's gonna be many opportunities for Cam to shine,
Yeah.
which I think would be tremendous.
So
Yeah.
talk about
And I
Danny
think
for a
he's going
minute.
to shine.
Talk about Danny for a minute, guys. I mean, we spoke to a bunch of the guys. We spoke to Caravan and Cam and Tristan, and all of these guys said the same thing. The intensity level that Danny displays on the sideline.
Right.
Hey, listen, I remember when he played. When we were playing, how intense he was. It's different. And we talked to Danny about it, and he said that and all the kids too said that in practice it's just he's unbearable in practice, but in a game it's more at the referees.
No, he said it.
At them. That's what Danny said. Yeah,
they said it. Every one of them said the same thing. It was in unison. It was like, and Danny said. He said, "I'm a maniac in practice. They put up with me because, and the games they'll look forward to the games."
yeah.
That sounds, hey, Rod, that sounds familiar, right?
I was gonna say the same thing.
That was just what I was going to ask
The
you.
same thing.
That was just what I was going to ask you. 'Cause
Between-
you guys go to
between-
practice and stuff, right? Do you guys get to practice?
No, I haven't been to a practice yet, but from what you just said, it just sounds like what we went through with Coach Calhoun and Rod down there with Howie Dickerman, man. I mean, you had two of the most energetic, in-your-face type of coaches, and we had two of them. So you can imagine if they're saying that about just one coach. We had two. But
Well,
yeah,
talk about that a
Dan,
second, Chris, because you got a Hall of Fame coach in Calhoun, and you got Danny
Yeah.
Hurley, who now is exhibiting a lot of the same characteristics of Jim. talk about the comparisons between the old and new school. Do you think Danny is kind of a throwback to those days of when Calhoun was coaching?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he gets in guys' face. He wants you to do what he wants you to do. I mean, he's got a tight program. He wants you to run his stuff when you're out there,
Yeah.
and he wants you to run it well. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's nothing wrong with getting in guys' faces. But the one thing I can say about Danny by watching him on the sideline, if you look at the guys on the bench, they all believe in Danny, even the guys playing. That's the difference. He can yell at you. Some guys run and go away, but the way he yells at you, he's still pouring out love and saying, look, the reason why I'm yelling at you, because I know you can do better. I know you can do more. And those guys, I can see they believe in him and he believes in them. And that's why it works.
I think he also shows them both sides of the coin,
Yeah.
right? He's ready to bark and bite, but then he's also ready to lift you up and
There you
give you a
go.
big old hug, right?
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
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 And Rod knows. I mean, Rod, I used to feel sorry for those big guys down there where I was looking. I mean, he yelled so much, it was ridiculous. I used to stop. I literally used to stop practice and just watch because I couldn't believe how much Dickerman was yelling at these guys. But you know what? It was done in love. And it's the same thing with Coach Hurley. It's done in love, and the players know it. And if you do right by him, he's going to show it. He's going to pour that love all into you.
I
You
think
know,
the last part of what Smitty said is huge. That he's gonna scream at you and get on you, whatever, but you know that at the end of the day, he
Yeah,
has your back as well.
Right.
If
exactly.
you work hard for him, he's gonna have your back. And that's the beauty of Coach Calhoun. He was the exact same. He would scream, Coach D the same.
Yeah.
He would scream, curse at us, man, call us all types of stuff. But you knew that if
Yeah,
you worked hard, they had your back.
they had your back. Yeah,
You see the same thing with Danny. You see him screaming, but then you see him giving them love.
yeah,
Like, I mean, I love that, man. Like these guys, he's high fiving them. He's as intense as they are if he was on the court playing.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
I'm like, yo, how could you not like? Okay, I'm old school. How could you not like that? I know the new school is a little different. You can't be as rough, but seeing that it draws me in because I grew up with that. I like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm loving seeing that from that guy.
Yeah.
It's funny, because we had Coach Calhoun on the show, and I just want to share this with you because of all the guys that we've talked to, you two guys can appreciate what I'm about to say. Okay, so I'm calling him back and forth to set it up. So I say, Coach, we're going to do it at 2:00 on a Tuesday. Okay, so I said, what's your email? So I said, oh, I got to get a pen. He goes, it's you effing Villanova guys are all the effing same. He goes, you don't even have an effing pen and a piece of paper and an effing this, effing. I was like, I didn't know if he was going to make me run a suicide or what, man. He was screaming at me. Then the next day he's laughing and joking around with us. And I go, what the heck? I said, that guy, he reminded me of Coach Mass a little bit, the way he was talking, So it was crazy. So listen, guys, we're gonna take a short break because we gotta pay some bills, and our new sponsor, Third Eye Consulting Property Management Solutions, is gonna talk to us for a minute, and we'll be right back with both Chris and Rod, and of course, Sonny Sparrow right after this.
Today's episode brought to you by Third Eye Consulting. It's providing innovative property management solutions. Peter Haber, a good friend of Chuck and I's, runs Third Eye Consulting. It's a full-service property and management consulting company. They are a customer service and results-driven company. They work with landlords, investors, and out-of-state homeowners who have tenants. They have a track record of taking underperforming properties, turning them on their heads, and making them profitable for their owners and investors. So look up Third Eye Consulting and give them a call today. Peter Haber, tell them the Big East Rewind sent you. Back.
Okay,
go,
we're
Chuck.
back.
Ready?
Thank you to our new sponsor, Third Eye Consulting. We appreciate you. Thank you for all your sponsoring the show, and we really appreciate what you do. So here we are. We're back now with the guys, all right? And we're going to talk about current day situations. First, before we even get there, I got to ask you guys this, okay? And this is a a conversation that has been coming up recently based on you winning your last national championship, your 5th national championship at UConn. Why is it, guys, do you think that people have such a hard time of including UConn in that blue blood conversation? What do you think that's about?
Rod, I'll let you hit on that.
People ask me that a lot. I always say, I give this analogy. I said it's like new money. You got like, Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, you got the old money. And then you got Zuckerberg and Musk, the new money. The old money doesn't like to really accept the new money. And UConn, what they got 5 and 25 years,
Yeah.
and these other teams have 8, whatever, but it's over 60, 70 years. So it's hard for them to accept the new blood, the new money. They don't want to accept it. But I always say, old money, new money is still good money. So if they accept us or not, we still got the 5 championships.
Yeah.
So
All right, I gotta ask you. Are you Musk or are you Zuckerberg? Which one you want to be?
oh my goodness.
Either or.
That's a great analogy, man. I've never heard that.
Like Rod, hey, Rod, we're Bitcoin, right?
Right.
That's it.
Fortune 500, either way, it doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Let's talk about the state of the conference. I mean, this year, I think the Big East can probably get 5 or 6 teams in the tournament if it all breaks well for everybody. Talk about who you think the top of the conference is this year, Chris, besides UConn.
Well, I mean, obviously, like Rod said, Marquette's going to be there. Creighton's going to be there as well. I'm excited, man. Hey, look, St. John's, I think, is going to be up there as well. I watched them the other night because I'm like, man, everybody's talking about St. John's. Let me see what they have. And then I saw the guard play. They have really, really good guard play at St. John's, and I'm like, wow, they're going to be pretty good. I watched Cooley at Georgetown, and I'm like, Georgetown, Cooley's a great, great coach, and he's got some pieces there as well. And I'm like, well, Georgetown may try to make a move as well, and I don't think that's going to be easy out as well. So there's some teams that I think they're going to be exciting. They're going to play hard. Obviously, Villanova. Villanova's always going to be there.
Villanova is a system, man. System factory.
They're always going to be there.
Yeah.
They're never easy out. They're going to play tough defense. So there's some teams up there that can really knock on the door this year. And like you said, I think it's going to be 6 teams in the NCAA tournament this year for sure from the Big East.
Yeah. It's funny. You mentioned St. John's. I watched that game too. I was impressed with the kid, Joel Soriano.
Yeah.
He
I like
Soriano.
Soriano.
He didn't do that last year.
Yeah.
He didn't do it in his first 4 years.
Yeah. I mean, he's putting threes up. I mean, I was impressed with him. And I agree with you about Georgetown. I think Georgetown's a few pieces away.
Yeah.
But next year, they've got already one of the top recruiting classes in the country, in the top 5 anyway, like UConn had this year. They've got a group coming in that's supposed to be unbelievable.
But also, right, Chuck? Coach Cooley is energizing and bringing back his former players. Yeah. He's putting the pieces all back together. Good. That, from what the alumni have said, was kind of one of the missing pieces there.
You're right, and it's funny, son, because we're talking to 2 guys at UConn, and they're embraced by the current team. The Georgetown guys were not that way, and it's different, and it's odd to hear that because I come from Villanova where it's that way. You guys are UConn where it's that way. Sonny's got a little bit of both. They do some stuff, but not everybody's involved.
Wow,
it's all different for each of us.
Wow.
But the thing is, I think what Cooley brings to the program is the first thing he did was he had a conference call with the former players. Yep. And he had about 80 alumni on the call. And he invited them to come to practice. He invited them to, be part of it. And the first day at practice, there's 5 alumni there. But yet they really don't know, how to handle that. So, so a kid makes a play, you got two guys running out on the court high-fiving a kid in the middle of practice. So Cooley blows his mind and goes, hey, we want you here. We love you. We want you here, okay? But make no mistake, this is my practice and this is my gym, So you can't act like you've been here before kind of a thing. I mean,
like a kid in a candy shop, man.
Well, you know what? I can't blame them, Sonny.
I can't either.
Right.
You're excited, it's
I mean,
it's a part of your
part of where you
it's a part of your DNA, It's natural.
Of course. So I mean, it's wild though. I'll say that. All right, Chris, I got to ask you this too. This is new school basketball stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How much money would you have made on an NIL? Come on, the leading scorer,
Chris.
Chuck,
Nobody's recording.
I would say at least $1 million. I mean, these kids are making $1 million out here, and if not a little bit more. But I love it. I love it for the kids. You got some kids that may try to go into the NBA or the WNBA and they're not ready. The NIL will give them a chance to really say, look, I want to continue with my education. I want to stay at school. I'm getting taken care of very, very well. And some of these kids probably making more in college than they would after college. So it's really, really good. But I think
about that.
Yeah.
Think about the money they're making in college.
Right.
In college.
College, you're making this money.
Yeah.
Listen, what I would have done for $100, what we could have did on campus with $100. Never mind $1 million, or whatever.
Would have easily been over $1 million.
Yeah. I think we all would have.
That would have been tremendous.
Yeah, and you know what? Because Connecticut embraced. I mean, there's no pro team in Connecticut. You got New York with the Knicks. You have Boston with the Celtics. There's no pro team in Connecticut. So I think all the players at UConn at that time, if there was an NIL, we all would have been at the car dealerships. We all would.
There would have been a line.
Yeah, it would have been a line.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting. And now you add the portal to that, right?
Yeah.
And now it becomes like being on a pro team because now you have free agency. But you know what? You don't hear the downside of that. There are a lot of kids, and we talked to Lavelle Sanders, who's coaching at Binghamton. And he came on, and they're a mid-major, So a kid drops 15 a game at a mid-major. All of a sudden now he's getting recruited in the portal to go to the Big East. And now maybe he don't get the run that he was getting. And maybe he doesn't do what he was supposed to, It's a different animal when you're playing on there's levels. And it's a different game at each level you go to. And it trickles all the way down to the high school kid who's, if you had a son now, Chris, and they were trying to get a scholarship somewhere, and he was kind of in between, it would be tough because why would I take a 17-year-old kid when I could take a 20-year-old who's been who's been doing this for 3 years? Kind of like Cam now with UConn, right?
Yeah.
Now I got to ask you, since Syracuse left the Big East, my heart's been broken. But you guys left the Big East, and then you went back, right? What did you feel like when UConn said, we're going back to the Big East? I mean, just describe that a little bit.
Go on, Rock.
Man, I was super excited about that. I hated the fact that we had to leave to go to the American. I'm not going to hate on the American or anything, but, we're playing games in Tulsa, Oklahoma, or, we got games down in Texas, where in the Big East, it's the regional rivalries are there. And then the rivalries that we've known forever, Georgetown, Villanova. Well, Pitt was there, they left, Syracuse left, but the Providence is right there. Seton Hall, St. John's. Man, that was great to go back. And then, the Big East is a basketball conference.
Right.
So
that's
it's going to be wars. And then you got the rivalries, the fans are engaged. I mean, we were in the American. I would look at games on TV and I would see sometimes the arena would be half empty, half full.
Yeah.
Right.
We're playing now back in the Big East. It's sellouts.
And energy off the
energy
charts.
is unbelievable in those games.
Yeah.
Yeah. And for me, real quick, I mean, I grew up in Connecticut. So, my favorite player growing up, Sonny, was Pearl Washington. I told you that. I mean, he was the man. And then you got to realize I grew up in Bridgeport, Connecticut. We had Charles Smith, who went to Pittsburgh.
Right.
So I
Yeah.
knew him, our families went to the same church. And, I grew up watching him play. So, and then John Bagley from Bridgeport as well went to Boston College.
Yep.
So,
Right.
you know, I was so elated when they went back to the Big East because that's where they belong.
Yep.
I couldn't agree
Agreed.
more.
Agreed.
Can you guys
Yeah.
make a call to Syracuse? It's area code 315.
Yeah, Sonny's been trying since we started doing this. He's been trying to get him back in, but we don't have as much money as the football programs do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's the
what
thing.
that was all about.
Football drives it, man. Football
Yep.
drives it.
It does.
Okay, so we're getting up against it, guys. So, let's talk the last one. Give us your predictions. What do you think's going to happen this year? We're starting a brand new college basketball conference, brand new season. What do you think's going to happen? Let's just talk. Let's just keep it in the conference. I'm not going to ask you to do Final Four picks, but who do you think is going to be playing on that last weekend, the 4 teams, and narrow it down to see who's going to be there at the end for the Big East tournament at the Garden, which is the greatest place to play for a basketball tournament, right?
Great.
I think we'd all
I got
agree.
UConn, Marquette, Creighton, and Villanova. Those are my 4.
Yeah. I would
like
say the
that.
same. I would say the same thing. I think I gotta watch St. John's a little bit more, but I might
Yeah.
throw St. John's in there this year. Yeah.
How about you, Sonny? What do you think?
I hate to do it, but like I did it before, I'm going to stick with it. I just see Marquette and UConn playing for the championship again, and it's fun to watch Shaka and Danny because both of them probably run a half a marathon on the sideline between the two of them.
Right?
I mean,
Right.
there is no coaching box. Those guys are literally at the half court line. They're on the court. You got 6 guys on one side of the court and 6 on the other side. It's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going to say those. I think UConn, they have to stay healthy, I think, especially in a couple key positions. But it's hard to argue with how Marquette plays. And I think Xavier, when they get everybody healthy, they're going to be a force.
Yeah.
That's a good call.
Gonna be good. They're gonna be good.
Yeah.
They're going to surprise some people for sure,
I think so. Yeah.
Got
Sure.
Sean Miller.
I think
Got-
Providence
got a
could
blue
surprise
blood-
some people too.
Blue blood Big East coach, man.
Well, there you go. That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Well, I can't disagree with you guys. I have to put my Wildcats in there somewhere, otherwise I won't be allowed to go back to any games. Or anything. I have to do that, and I agree, Chris. I think St. John's could really, really make some noise.
Yeah.
He's
They're gonna
such a
be
good
scary.
coach. Rick
Yep.
is such a good coach. Those guys are they're going to be in shape.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been his formula for success since he started back in BU, and then when he took Billy Donovan, what he did to Billy, Billy came back look like a transformed guy, and all of a sudden he's running up and down with the best of them. So I think they may be there, and again, Marquette is good. The kid Tyler Kolick is unbelievable kid. First of all, and second of all, he's defending. He's the current Big East Player of the Year, and he's up for it again preseason.
Nice.
So
Nice.
so they have that guy, and
It's a Providence kid.
going to be and Creighton and UConn are, it could be anybody's game. That's what's going to be fun. And now that we've been to the media day and got to meet these kids, I have a renewed interest in watching other teams other than the Wildcats. So I'm flipping channels. My wife's like, what are you watching? I go, I'm watching the St. John Stony Brook game. Stony Brook? What are you, crazy?
I watched that too.
So did I. Yeah.
Yeah, so I said, so I'm looking forward to it, and hopefully, guys, we run into both of you at games, and I know we'll stay in touch, Chris, and we'll get you out to an Eagles game too.
Man, come on, man, please get me out to the Eagles.
Fly, Eagle, fly. We'll get you out for a game, brother.
Yes.
Well, thanks again. Thanks a lot for sharing your time with us tonight, guys. We really appreciate you coming out. And Rod, at last minute like that, Chris has got to be a special friend for you to jump on and trust him enough, a good teammate, that you were with 2 good guys. So I hope we made you feel at home.
That's my
Love you,
guy,
big
man.
fella.
Smitty's my guy, man. I love that guy. That's my man.
It.
And
Yeah.
thank you guys for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you,
Absolutely,
guys.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Thanks.
We
All
had a
right,
good
guys.
time. Love you,
You
big
got
guy.
Take care, pal.
My
Thanks,
man.
guys.
Bye.
You've been listening to the Big East Rewind with Sonny Sparrow and Chuck Everson. The Big East Rewind is produced and directed by Nick Chikokoris and Daryl Gurney. You could check us out on all things social media by putting Big East Rewind in the search bar. We are on everything from TikTok to Instagram, everything you can think of, X. And also, we want you, when you go on, to check out the shows on YouTube or wherever you get your podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and hit that bell for notifications, and share it with your friends. Always great to see you guys. Great to talk to everybody. Have a great night. See
Thanks,
you next
everybody.
Wednesday.
Enjoy.
Bye-bye.